Brazil is not the country most people think they know. The world was sold a postcard. Rio from above, Carnival from the Avenue, famous beaches, a vague green blur called the Amazon. But behind that bright surface, there is another Brazil. Older, stranger, harder to reach, and far less interested in being convenient. This is a country where lagoons appear between white dunes and vanish with the season, where rivers become beaches, where caves hold paintings older than many civilizations, where islands look like tropical fantasies until you discover they are archaeological sites, marine sanctuaries, indigenous territories, or fragile ecosystems with rules that matter. And that is what this journey is about. 25 hidden places in Brazil that look beautiful at first glance, but reveal a country of distance, patience, preservation, danger, and deep time. Subscribe before we begin, because some of these places you can visit, some you can only approach carefully, and some will remind you that the best landscapes in Brazil do not behave like tourist attractions. They behave like living worlds. Number 25. Ilha do Campeche, Santa Catarina. Just off Florianopolis, Ilha do Campeche looks almost too polished to be real. Clear water, pale sand, Atlantic forest, and a bay so blue it could be mistaken for the Caribbean. But the island is not just a beach. It is a sensitive archaeological and landscape heritage site, with one of the most important concentrations of rock inscriptions on the Brazilian coast. And it was listed by IFON in 2000. That changes everything. You can look, but you cannot behave as if the place were disposable. Visits depend on weather, controlled landing, accredited monitors, and rules explained when visitors arrive. The hidden layer here is simple. Paradise is not always public property. Sometimes the turquoise water is only the first sentence, and the real story is carved into stone. Number 24. Ilha do Cardoso, São Paulo. At the far southern edge of São Paulo's coast, Ilha do Cardoso feels like a place that escaped the mainland by accident. There are mangroves, beaches, Atlantic forest, dolphins in the estuary, and Kaitara communities whose rhythm has little to do with traffic, elevators, or hurry. Its trick is distance without drama. The park headquarters may be connected to Cananéia, but the visitation nuclei are reached by nautical transport. In other words, the island makes you leave the road behind. This is not a destination you conquer with a quick turn off the highway. You arrive by boat, by tide, by patience. And when the engine goes quiet, São Paulo no longer feels like São Paulo. It feels like a coastline remembering itself. Number 23. Saco do Mamanguá, Rio de Janeiro. Near Paraty, hidden behind the glamour of colonial streets and famous islands, Saco do Mamanguá opens like a secret corridor of sea. People call it Brazil's tropical fjord, although geologists may raise an eyebrow at the word. But visually, the nickname works. A long arm of green water cutting inland between forested mountains. From a distance, it seems like another beautiful bay. Up close, it becomes a geography lesson. The water is calm, the slopes rise steeply, and the communities along the shore live in a place that feels both near and far from everything. The barrier is not prohibition, it is logistics. You need a boat or a serious hike, and you need to understand that Mamanguá is not Paraty's backyard. It is a place that rewards those who stop treating maps like menus. Number 22. Ponta do Corumbau, Bahia. Ponta do Corumbau is one of those places that seems to disappear while you are looking at it. At low tide, a long tongue of sand stretches into the sea, turning the coastline into a temporary sculpture. At high tide, the ocean reclaims the trick. From above, it looks effortless. Sand, reef, blue water, coconut trees. But Corumbau is not just a pretty beach near southern Bahia's better-known destinations. Its magic depends on timing. The tide decides the shape of the day. Getting there often involves rough roads, boats, or long detours from places like Caraíva, Prado, or Cumuruxatiba. The practical truth is that Corumbau is not hidden by secrecy. It is hidden by inconvenience, and that is still one of the strongest fences in Brazil. Number 21. Ilha do Mel, Paraná. Ilha do Mel does not feel like an island trying to impress you. That is its charm. There are trails, beaches, old paths through vegetation, a lighthouse, and the Fortaleza de Nossa Senhora dos Prazeres, standing as a reminder that even a quiet island can have a military memory. The island resists the logic of a big city. Movement is slower. Sand gets into everything. Distances are measured by walking, by boat schedules, by how much daylight remains. It is accessible, but not quite easy. You cross from the Paraná coast by boat, and once there, the island asks you to accept its scale. No grand avenue, no urban impatience, just paths, wind, ruins, and the feeling that modern Brazil has to wait at the pier. Number 20. Salto do Yucumã, Rio Grande do Sul. Most waterfalls fall across a river. Salto do Yucumã is stranger. It runs lengthwise along the Uruguay River, near the border with Argentina, forming a long, dramatic rupture in the water when the river level allows it. That phrase matters. When the river level allows it. Yucumã can be magnificent, but it is not obedient. Too much water, and the spectacle can disappear under the flood. Too little, and the power changes. The attraction is real, but its face depends on the river's mood. This is a hidden Brazil ruled not by fences, but by hydrology. You may travel far and still find the main show half-veiled. The river does not refund expectations. Number 19. Canyon Itaimbezinho and Rio do Boi, Rio Grande do Sul and Santa Catarina. From above, Itaimbezinho is cinematic. Cliffs, mist, green walls, waterfalls falling into a cut so deep it seems made by a giant blade. From below, through the Rio do Boi Trail, the canyon stops being scenery and becomes a physical negotiation. The same place has two personalities. On the upper rim, you contemplate. Down inside the canyon, you walk over stones, cross water, feel the walls rising, and understand that beauty can also be intimidating. The national parks of Aparados da Serra and Serra Geral include areas such as Itaimbezinho, Fortaleza, and Rio do Boi, with regulated visitation and different routes. Official management documents identify Itaimbezinho and Rio do Boi as key geosites in Aparados da Serra. It is one thing to photograph a canyon. It is another thing to walk inside its throat. Number 18. Val do Pati, Bahia. Val do Pati is not a viewpoint. It is a commitment. In the Chapada Diamantina, it lies between mountains, old mining paths, waterfalls, and houses of residents who host trekkers with a kind of hospitality that feels increasingly rare. There is no luxury in the usual sense. The luxury is waking up surrounded by cliffs. It is eating after a long trail. It is hearing silence with weight. Pati is hidden because it makes speed useless. You do not drop by. You walk in, sleep there, and let the valley decide how much of itself it wants to reveal. The barrier is time, knees, weather, and humility. In a country obsessed with destinations, Pati is a place that still believes in the journey. Number 17. Poço Azul and Poço Encantado, Bahia. In Bahia's Chapada Diamantina region, Poço Azul and Poço Encantado look like someone edited reality. The water glows in shades of blue that feel almost artificial. Sunlight enters the caves at the right angle, and suddenly the darkness becomes luminous. But the magic is conditional. It depends on light, hour, season, preservation rules, and the behavior of visitors. These are not swimming pools made for a crowd. They are fragile chambers where water, limestone, and sunlight collaborate with almost theatrical precision. The hidden part here is not the location, it is the timing. Arrive at the wrong hour, and the miracle becomes quieter. Arrive with the wrong attitude, and you miss the point entirely. Number 16. Serra da Capivara, Piauí. Now the list changes tone. Serra da Capivara is not simply beautiful. It is a wound in time. In the semi-arid landscape of Piauí, cliffs and shelters hold thousands of archaeological traces and rock paintings that turned this region into one of the most important prehistoric sites in the Americas. UNESCO inscribed Serra da Capivara as a Cultural World Heritage Site in 1991. The landscape is dry, sharp, luminous, and severe. It does not seduce like a beach, it confronts you. Human figures, animals, rituals, and gestures remain on the stone as if the past refused to leave. The barrier is distance and attention. You need guides, planning, and a willingness to see Brazil not as a young country, but as a place sitting on memories much older than its flag. Number 15. Serra das Confusões, Piauí. If Serra da Capivara is famous among those who study deep history, Serra das Confusões is its quieter neighbor, more elusive and more solitary. The name itself sounds like a warning. Confusions. Here, the Caatinga becomes monumental. Rock formations rise from dry vegetation. Light changes the color of the cliffs. Caves, canyons, and narrow passages create the feeling of a landscape built to disorient travelers. It is not hidden because nobody has found it. It is hidden because few people know how to read it. The Caatinga is often dismissed as empty, but here, emptiness becomes architecture. Serra das Confusões is Brazil saying, "You misunderstood the dry lands." Number 14. Cavernas do Peruaçu, Minas Gerais. Peruaçu is a Brazil that opens downward. In northern Minas Gerais, giant caves, natural arches, and rock art create a subterranean cathedral where the human voice feels almost rude. This is not a casual cave visit. To access park attractions, visitors must hire a conductor, generally with one conductor for each group of up to 8 people, according to ICMBio visitation information. That rule is not bureaucracy for its own sake. It is the difference between tourism and damage. Peruaçu contains spaces that feel prehistoric, sacred, and fragile at the same time. Inside those limestone halls, Brazil stops being tropical cliché and becomes shadow, mineral, echo, and ancient pigment. The country has an underground memory, and Peruaçu keeps the door only partly open. Number 13. Terra Ronca, Goiás. Terra Ronca has a name that sounds like the earth itself is speaking. In northeastern Goiás, this state park protects a major cave complex where rivers enter the darkness and halls open like hidden rooms under the Cerrado. The landscape above ground is already dramatic. Dry forest, limestone, rural roads, red dust. But the real revelation is below. Water moves underground. Entrances swallow daylight. The air cools. The Cerrado, which many outsiders imagine as flat and open, suddenly becomes vertical, secretive, and hollow. Access depends on local guidance, planning, and respect for the cave's conditions. Terra Ronca is not a place to improvise with a flashlight and confidence. The earth may be roaring, but it is not inviting fools. Number 12. Chapada dos Veadeiros, Goiás. Chapada dos Veadeiros is known, but not fully understood. Many people visit the obvious waterfalls, take the expected photos, and leave thinking they have seen it. They have not. Beyond the famous circuits, the Chapada stretches into long trails, quartzite landscapes, Cerrado flowers, hidden pools, and waterfalls that require distance, heat, and patience. The national park is part of the Cerrado Protected Areas, recognized by UNESCO as World Heritage, a status tied to the extraordinary biodiversity and ecosystems of the region. This is an ancient plateau of water and stone. The barrier is not always a locked gate. Sometimes, it is the illusion that a famous place has no secrets left. Chapada dos Veadeiros proves that popularity and mystery can occupy the same map. And if you are still watching, this is a good moment to subscribe, because apparently, the deeper Brazil gets, the less it cares about your comfort, your shoes, or your mobile signal. Number 11. Jalapão Tocantins. Jalapão is often called a desert, which is almost funny because water is everywhere. There are dunes, yes, golden, wind-shaped, glowing at sunset. But there are also ferveduros, springs where pressure from below keeps you floating, waterfalls, rivers, and wet surprises inside the dry Cerrado. The paradox is the point. Jalapão is the desert of waters. The barrier is the road. Long dirt tracks, sand, heat, and distances make access part of the experience. Many routes demand serious planning and vehicles prepared for rough conditions. This is not a landscape you consume quickly. It shakes you for hours before rewarding you with blue water in the middle of dust. Jalapão is Brazil proving that contradiction can be a geography. Number 10. Chapada das Mesas, Maranhão. In southern Maranhão, Chapada das Mesas reaches with table-shaped cliffs, waterfalls, blue pools, and rock walls that feel like a transition between the Cerrado and the northeast. It is less globally famous than other chapadas, and that helps preserve its sense of discovery. The water here often appears suddenly, a waterfall behind trees, a pool so blue it seems chemically impossible, a river cutting through stone. The landscape has drama without needing crowds to confirm it. The barrier is distance from Brazil's usual tourist routes. Maranhão is remembered for São Luís and Lençóis Maranhenses, but far inland, Chapada das Mesas builds another identity. Hotter, stonier, more vertical, and quietly spectacular. Some places become hidden simply because the country is too large for its own imagination. Number 9. Lençóis Maranhenses, Maranhão. Lençóis Maranhenses is famous in photographs, but still mysterious in practice. The image is simple: white dunes and blue-green lagoons. The reality is seasonal, moving, regulated, and much stranger. The lagoons form with rainwater between dunes, and their best appearance depends on the rhythm of the wet and dry seasons. Communities live near and within this landscape. Vehicles do not simply go wherever they want. Rules, authorized access, and park preservation are part of the experience. In 2024, UNESCO inscribed Lençóis Maranhenses National Park on the World Heritage List, recognizing its exceptional natural value. It looks like a desert, but it behaves like a calendar. Lençóis is not one place. It is a landscape that keeps rewriting itself in sand and water. Number 8. Delta do Parnaíba, Piauí and Maranhão. The Delta do Parnaíba is a place roads cannot explain. Rivers split, islands multiply, mangroves spread, dunes appear, and the horizon becomes a puzzle of water and sand. To understand it, you need a boat. That is the essential truth. From the river channels, the delta stops being a point on a map and becomes a labyrinth. There are birds, crabs, wind, mud, silence, and sudden openings, where the water seems to have invented another coast. The area is protected as a federal environmental protection area, and ICMBio's visitor information emphasizes boat rides, mangrove access, and nautical activities as part of the experience. The Delta do Parnaíba is not hidden behind walls. It is hidden behind water. And water is the oldest border in Brazil. Number 7. Alter do Chão, Pará. Alter do Chão is the beach that refuses the ocean. On the Tapajós River, white sand appears beside fresh water so clear and wide that the brain briefly gives up and calls it sea, but Alter is also seasonal. The most intense beach landscapes appear when river levels drop. At other times, water rises and redraws the place. The famous Ilha do Amor is less an island in the permanent sense than a recurring agreement between sand and river. The hidden lesson is that the Amazon is not only forest, it is also beach, light, horizon, and freshwater scale so vast it mocks coastal habits. Alter do Chão looks like leisure. Then you understand, it is hydrology wearing sunglasses. Number 6. Ilha de Marajó, Pará. Marajó is not just an island, it is an entire country-sized mood at the mouth of the Amazon. There are buffalo moving through flooded fields, ceramic traditions with ancient roots, river beaches, tides with oceanic force, wooden houses, boats, mud, heat, and distances that make ordinary island clichés collapse. Marajó is fluvial and maritime, rural and mythical, accessible and still difficult to summarize. The barrier is scale. You do not understand Marajó in a weekend checklist. Ferries, boats, seasons, and local rhythms shape the journey. It is one of those places where Brazil stops looking like a nation and starts looking like a continent, pretending to be one country. Marajó is not an escape from the map. It is proof the map was too small. Number 5. Anavilhanas, Amazonas. Anavilhanas is an archipelago, but not in the ocean. It lies in the Rio Negro, near Novo Airão, where hundreds of islands, channels, lakes, and flooded forests create one of the great fluvial landscapes of the planet. Amazonas tourism authorities describe it as having around 400 islands and 60 lakes. At low water, beaches emerge. At high water, the forest floods and canoes slide between trunks. The same place changes grammar with the river level. The barrier is not only access by boat, it is comprehension. Anavilhanas asks you to abandon the idea that land and water are opposites. Here, they trade places. In the Amazon, geography is not fixed, it breathes. Number 4. Parque Nacional do Jaú, Amazonas. Jaú is Amazonia at monumental scale. Deep inside the Rio Negro Basin, it is a national park where distance becomes almost philosophical. The forest is not a backdrop, it is the main force. The park changes dramatically between seasons. ICM Bio notes that in the dry period, usually from September to February, visitors may encounter beaches, rapids, rock formations, and petroglyphs. During the flood period, from March to August, Igapó forests and aquatic trails become part of the experience. That means Jaú is not one destination. It is 2, 3, maybe 10 destinations depending on the water. The barrier is remoteness, authorization, river logistics, and respect. Jaú is not the Amazon for people who want a decorative jungle. It is the Amazon that reminds you how small a visitor really is. Number 3. Serra do Divisor, Acre. At Brazil's far western edge, near the border with Peru, Serra do Divisor feels almost imaginary to many Brazilians. This is the country few postcards dare to show. Mountains in Acre, dense forest, waterfalls, rivers, mist, and a sense of frontier that is geographical, cultural, and emotional. Reaching it is part of the legend. Official tourism information has described access through Cruzeiro do Sul, then Mancio Lima, followed by boat travel along the Moa River that can take many hours depending on the vessel. This is not the Brazil of easy arrival. It is the Brazil of river time. Serra do Divisor reveals a truth that should embarrass every simplified image of the country. There are parts of Brazil that even Brazilians barely imagine. Number 2. Abrolhos, Bahia. Abrolhos looks delicate from afar, a group of oceanic islands, clear water, seabirds, reefs, and a blue horizon off the coast of Bahia. But beneath the surface, the place becomes one of Brazil's great marine sanctuaries. The National Marine Park protects the main nursery of humpback whales in the South Atlantic, where they migrate to reproduce and have calves between June and November, according to ICMBio visitor information. Access depends on authorized vessels, sea conditions, and park rules. You do not simply point a boat at Abrolhos and improvise. The ocean is beautiful, but it is also a gatekeeper. Abrolhos is not hidden because it lacks fame. It is hidden because the sea keeps its own distance, and sometimes, in the water below, giants are raising their young. Number 1. Monte Roraima, Roraima. Monte Roraima is the natural climax of this list because it looks impossible even when you know it is real. A flat-topped mountain rising from the borderlands of Brazil, Venezuela, and Guyana, wrapped in clouds, cliffs, rain, black rock, strange plants, and a mythology that feels older than the maps around it. It is not just a mountain, it is a table in the sky. For Brazilian travelers, the journey usually involves Boa Vista, Pacaraima, border logistics, indigenous territories, local guides, long trekking days, river crossings, camps, mud, cold nights, sudden fog, and the slow realization that the summit is not a viewpoint. It is another world. ICMBio has treated visitation to Brazil's Monte Roraima National Park as requiring special authorization, reflecting the sensitivity and complexity of access in the region. Roraima is the perfect final place because it contains everything this list has been trying to say. Beauty is not always easy. Remoteness is not emptiness. A landscape can be sacred, political, ecological, and dangerous at the same time. You may reach the top, take the photo, and still feel that the mountain allowed only a brief audience. Monte Roraima does not look like Brazil. It looks like the place Brazil kept for last, just to prove how little the world had understood. And that is the secret running through all 25 places. The most impressive Brazil is not always hidden by conspiracy or forbidden by law. Sometimes it is hidden by tide, by season, by distance, by bad roads, by park rules, by indigenous presence, by fragile ecosystems, by rivers that rise, caves that need silence, and dunes that refuse to stay still. These places are not disposable scenery. They are living archives, geographic, ancient, protected, difficult, and far stranger than the tourist imagination usually admits. So go if you can. Plan better than you think you need to. Hire the guide when the place asks for one. Respect the tide, the trail, the resident, the ranger, the river, the stone. Because Brazil's hidden places do not exist merely to be visited. They exist to remind us that wonder still has conditions.